Alright, back on this Indian motor. I'm going to put the alternator stator in here, and there's supposed to be a set screw right here in this hole, right down here, so where I can see it. There you go. And all they had in here from the factory was silicone stuffed in the hole, so they didn't bother to put a set screw in there to hold the stator in. So we're going to get this hole cleaned out so that we can get down to the threads. Threads back in it. Put a set screw in it. We just use a drill bit here to clean this out with. Get most of it out with that. And then we'll go ahead and get a tap and put a tap down there. So we'll get a tap right now. Okay, I got me a tap here. And this here's the little set screw that goes in there. Get the camera to focus on that at all. Not really. There it goes. So I think it's a 1024 thread, so it seems to be the size of the drill that was going in it. Yep, it's going right in without cutting any threads. Cutting any new aluminum anyway. And we got threads in there now. Alright, go ahead and get our Allen wrench in here. One, of course. Next one down. And there's our set screw. Check the depth, so it just hit my finger right there about flush. So let me back it out a little bit. So I'll probably put a little bit dab of Loctite on that before I put it in for real. So it'll be basically flush when it's installed right. And that digs into the stator rubber right here and keeps it from going back and forth. On the Chevrolets and stuff, they had actually a retainer that they stuck in there. It was held right in here, a little plastic retainer that kept the plug from moving, but these 32 amp ones are a little different. So, one more thing had to be fixed there as usual. Alright, so here's our stator. The S&S is using little Allen screws here to hold it in instead of the Torx head screws like Harley uses now. So this basically just slips on over here. Pull it back a little bit. And then we shove this in here with some sealer on it. And see how good of a job we can make it airtight so it doesn't leak oil, or at least oil tight. So I'm going to use my same case sealer I used before. Just a little bit out here on the plug. It's oil saturated, so it doesn't really stick to it very well, as you can see. Doesn't really stick to it at all. Go ahead and smear a little bit on the inside of the hole a little bit. Make a little bit of a mess there. Okay, let's go ahead and put this thing in there. So you're going to go in relatively easily, or it's going to be a pain in the butt. Now you just take a big screwdriver and wedge it in a little bit as I go. You hit right on the back side of the rubber here. Try not to wedge on the, you don't want to wedge on the windings themselves, but you can wedge against the magnet part here. You can wedge against pretty easily. Get this right. And you want to wedge against the rubber plug, not against the end of the wires that are in there. You want this to come out the side over here, which is just now starting to get ready to come out. There we go. So there you go, stuck out. Wipe off the sealer. Let's see, a little bit deeper with that. You want to try to get the big part of the plug in there deep enough the rotor won't hit against it. Another, just a little bit deeper. Close up of that here so you can see it better. So I'm trying to get that on light right in here. Trying to get this part of the plug flush with the case here. Pull it back a little bit so you can see it. That way when the rotor goes in here, it won't hit on it too hard. And it sticks out this side pretty good. So let's just wipe off the excess of the sealer. That's what's nice about that sealer, it wipes off pretty well. So on the shovel head they actually have a plug to, or a cap that goes back and holds that. So these ones don't. So we'll go ahead and put the set screw in here. This one right here. Where the line? There it is. So a little dab of Loctite on there. Some relatively light stuff on there. Get this back up here, we can see better. There's the camera out. Get the camera adjusted. Okay, we go ahead and just tighten this down until it hits the rubber. And then you go like half a turn further and you stop. That way it'll help hold the rubber so it won't move back and forth. Okay, after you get that in there, you can go ahead and put the screws up in here. Same thing, we got to put Loctite on those so they don't come out. And you just go here in the big holes here. Here, click in. Get the first one started and then you do the rest of them. Let's see, here's our Allen socket. Where'd my wrench go? Excuse me. Okay, we just run these on down. If the stator doesn't slip all the way over the crank snout there, just work it in a little at a time until it gets all the way against the bottom. Tighten those up. Now, make sure the wires stay below the surface here as much as they can. These ones are blowing up quite a bit, which I don't really like, but we'll just set up here. You can't do much about it. You know, this one here takes the older style rotor, is just a flat plate. There's no shoulders or anything else, so it takes two big thick washers. So this the inner washer is about a 93 thou thick one, 3/32. So this one here is 103 for some reason. So it's close enough to what we need. You can see how it has a mark in there where it was rubbing on the spacer in here. So we'll put that in first. So that goes up in there, and then the rotor goes up against it. So for now I'm going to leave that off because it makes it hard to put the top in on it. We'll leave that over there for now. I'll leave the spacer on top of that so I won't forget it later. So that's it for the stator. So I already put this switch in here when it's off camera. I got a special socket here I made that I cut down. So one of my other videos shows how I did that. And that goes in there and just clears the lifter block. It's a pretty tight fit up in here in the lifter block right here. So it allows you to put it in. So you want to make sure you do that, obviously. And then, so that's about where we're at on this. So we're ready to go ahead and get the top in ready to go on now. So we'll stop at this point.